If you come here for an objective review, then go elsewhere, because I'm a Royal Enfield fanboy through and through. So bear that in mind if you're making a buying decision on watching my Royal Enfield videos. Right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. So today, I've actually got Suze has made an appearance, returned. The fans are going to go wild. Everyone's going to be so.
Fan.
Yeah, maybe there'll be more than one. There'll be more than one.
Hopefully.
Everybody, yeah, Suze is back.
I'm really grateful to be here.
We're at Midwest Moto, which we love coming up to. Usually it's just me looking around all the Royal Enfields and the Indians and CS. Today Suze has been around.
Doing that, might I add.
Suze has been around. You've sat on various bikes at the Meteors and everything.
Great. I mean, it was great here before, but I haven't been up here since before we went away. And they've got a whole array now of obviously the Royal Enfield.
Royal Enfield range is back. I'm wearing the Royal Enfield t-shirt, and we've got a Royal Enfield bike.
And I'm in a matching colour to
colour coordinated. We've got a Royal Enfield motorcycle sat between us now. This is an interesting bike. It's obviously, you guys know already, it's the SuperMeteor 650. I owned the Meteor and I was looking for a bit more power. This bike was very high on my consideration list. Is that a word? I don't know. We'll roll with it. I was going to go for one, but they were a little bit too new in the release cycle. I didn't want to buy a brand new bike, so I really needed 6 more months really for those bikes to come up second hand. A friend of ours, Two-Wheeled Willie, he bought one of these in Astral Green. He loved it. He's a tall guy, he's got the forward foot controls. He said it was a brilliant, brilliant bike. So really, it's kind of a long time coming. I just want to get a feel for the SuperMeteor, and I know it's a very quality bike. It's a twin, slightly forward controls. It's a heavy bike as well, some other considerations. But importantly, we've got Suze to give her opinion.
So my first thoughts are, well, I actually first saw the Constellation, and that's upstairs in the fabulous Midwest.
That's the red
and
with
it's
cream.
The red and cream one. I don't know what the proper colour name is called, but whoa.
It's got a touring seat on it, a backrest, a screen, slightly different foot pegs. There are some differences as well.
Yeah, all of that jazz, but the colour and the way that they've ensembled the colour bits, the things highlighted, because on some of them this isn't brushed aluminium or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Satin. On that red one, it's like that with the red and cream. It just looks really, really good. One of the reasons why you didn't go for this bike was because of the forward front peg.
Foot controls,
not the medium, which Sean liked.
The pillion seat, that's going to be important, because every guy who's going to buy one of these potentially got a wife, girlfriend, partner who's going to want to go on the back.
Or every woman who buys it might have.
Yes, that's the politically correct way to say it. Yep.
So, yeah, this seat, obviously I was shocked on the BSA that it's got the, what do you call it?
It's called a Brit bike seat or big single seat, something like that.
It's got a big single seat. I thought it was called a bench seat.
It could be called a bench seat, that's probably the correct name for it.
I had
terminology.
Yeah, I didn't. Mr. Motorcycle over here, didn't.
That's why we invited you on.
The BSA
I was just testing you.
Has a bench seat. And the bench seat is incredibly comfortable. I always thought this kind of duo combo was way more comfy. But surprisingly, the BSA is the most comfortable bike out of all the ones that Sean's
So the
ridden.
SuperMeteor's got a lot to live up to in terms of comfort. Yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of people love the 350 engine. That's fab. But if you do want more, it's a no-brainer. That's why they bought it outright.
Yeah.
Like, let's do the same amazing stuff that Royal Enfield do. That Kazam it's got.
The unquantifiable it factor of Royal Enfield. Yeah.
Bikes have got. They're not just the sum of the things written down.
Power, weight, fuel capacity. You can't have like a top trumps on bikes. There's something special about them, which Royal Enfield has in spades.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Yeah.
There's no denying it. Royal Enfield have got, for the price as well.
Yeah.
You can't beat them.
And the same with your BSA. It just captivates people. You can't put. You could put it all together, but there's something else that makes it like whoa.
The owners are not just owners, are they? They're fans. They're aficionados.
Yeah.
They're obsessed about Royal Enfield, and kind of rightly so. There's something about them. And also, Royal Enfield are constantly refining the offering. I was talking to the dealer principal here, Mark. He was basically saying that every time there's a warranty claim for Royal Enfield, they take it back to to base to go through the engineers and the quality control, and they actually refine and update that part.
Wow.
So that it's constant refinement.
That's great. Well, that's the way you'd hope it would be.
That's the way you'd hope it would be, but I don't think all brands, listen, name no names, but I don't think all brands do that. They're constantly making every little thing better and better. And you can see, because this bike isn't the same as, say, a 2019 Interceptor. It's just not. Like, everything's just a bit different, nicer and fancier. It's come a long way.
Well, you also have a lot of models, don't you, which can feel a bit overwhelming if you don't know them.
They've diversified out the 350 lump and the 650 lump,
But
and
obviously it works.
they've got a new 450.
For me, looking at it first, I was like, why are they just bringing out another one the same? But they're not the same. Like, when you actually see them all together, which you can come and see,
got
them
a different
Midwest
vibe
here,
to them. Yeah.
It's amazing looking at them all. What's that? Interesting, like,
Signals,
army one.
The Signals 350.
I mean,
yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, very cool. All right, well, that's the intro.
Let's go out.
Right, well, it's all go here today. Just met Simon, who's standing over there. Nice chat with him. And also another chap who just tested the Himalayan called Nick Skydart. I'm trying to remember his channel so I can subscribe to him when I get back. Right, get the feet in the right place. That's the first challenge. We're out on the SuperMeteor 650. Hopefully my audio and everything. Oh, bloody hell, bounced over that then. Looks like we're recording. Just make sure this wire's not in the way. Similar to the shotgun, I'm getting that feeling of just how nice the motor is to wind up. It just feels a little bit different to the Interceptor. I don't know whether they've revised it with the mapping or... Oh, well, I think this guy... Oh. Just let me out. Oh, thank you. Very kind of him. Yeah, I think the mapping or something might be different, because it does have a certain pull to it. And it just sounds brilliant. It's that stereo sound that I miss. So when I'm riding my bike, I've got a single exhaust, but here you got two, and you get that lovely noise. So if nothing else to take home about the Royal Enfield 650 Twins, certainly the shotgun and this bike, the sound is absolutely fantastic. And bear in mind, everything I'm going to say today, the bike is 6,700. So really, that's your expectation. It's not an expensive motorcycle. Right, let's go down to 30 miles an hour. I really like the engine and gearbox, which I said on the shotgun review, and of course it's going to be similar on this. For me, it's kind of a different riding position. The suspension's the same on the rear anyway as the shotgun, and the engine, I imagine, is the same, if not very similar. Maybe it's slightly tuned or geared differently, but if you like one, you probably like the other. It's more going to be a comparison of the riding style. Now, remember I said about the shotgun, kind of lean forward, weren't we? Whereas here, this is a bit more of a cruiser style. Obviously the bike looks like a cruiser bike, if we're stating the obvious. But in the riding position as well, I've got a seat which is really kind of hugging. I actually really like the seat, I'm enjoying that. And these swept back bars, one thing you'll notice that differs between different Royal Enfields is the position of the handlebars. So think of a Bullet or a classic 350. You'll notice the handlebar is mounted here behind the yoke, whereas on the Interceptors and the shotgun and the SuperMeteor, and maybe the Meteor as well, it's got traditional handlebar clamp and a bar which is actually mounted into the top yoke. So there's a bit of a difference in the geometry. Oh yeah, look at that. nice ride. Let's give a shout out to the all-year motorcyclist with his Mickey Mouse mirrors. I really love that phrase. To give him the credit for that. That is a great way to describe 90% of motorcycle mirrors. Oh, nice Ferrari, is it? No, Jaguar. So yeah, I was just speaking at length there to Simon Gilbert, who comments and watches many of the YouTubers, moto YouTubers. Really interesting guy, actually. So that's nice. So thanks, Simon. Enjoyed talking to you. Sorry I had to rush off on a rider bike. And then also spoke to Nick, what was his channel? I think I said it. I'll remember. See, that shows how forgetful I am. Can't remember anything. But it's just really nice. We're going down to there and speaking to like-minded people. I hear that the CF Moto 650 MT is now sold. Also met the guy buying that, so he was very happy. And why wouldn't he be? You just want a 650 twin for 4.5 grand, and we were just saying it's half the price of the equivalent Kawasaki if you were to buy the Versys, or I think then even the Ninja's gone up in price recently. So why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Anyway, back to the SuperMeteor review. So yeah, I mean, on these roads, it's a beautiful day, sun shining. Just sweep round this bend. Oh yeah. And listen to the stereo sound. That's going to be the thing I'll always remember from these twins now. That beautiful sound that Royal Enfield twin exhausts give. Right, let's do a bit of rider's POV in case you're watching this video in isolation. I'll just put it into third. I do like having the gear indicator. That actually helps me out a little bit. I'm on a new bike. When you change bikes all the time, you can get in the wrong gear. You know, silly as it sounds, none of us are kind of perfect. We're not pro motorcycle riders, just people having a go at recording videos. Is this car going to pull out? No. This guy's seen me. That's good. And yeah, nice to have a gear indicator. But talking of the POV of the rider, I mean, the mirrors are really good. I can see everything. I mean, I'm only trundling at 30, but no vibration. Nice view, nice classic looking at the chrome there. Obviously the famous, or now famous, Royal Enfield bottle top exhausts. And then you've got the lovely switch gear. Now on the shotgun, it was gloss black. On the SuperMeteor, it's satin. Oh, well, that's a paint finish or just a kind of a polished effect on the alloy, but it's lovely, whatever it is. They've done a really nice job on it. I do like the layout. I mean, it's kind of typical Royal Enfield now, isn't it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Got a little info button here, so you got different trip meters, trip A and B, and then the odometer. Only 103 miles on the clock. All this stuff is just lovely. I love how they've gone to a switch, like a knob that you flick back and forth rather than just a press switch. Just kind of more old school. Nice touch of that. It costs that much to implement the change, but it just makes this bike stand out a little bit. And then we'll just roll up to the junction. As we're here at the junction, I'll tell you that my feet are nice and flat. It's a cruiser with a nice low seat. I mean, what's not to like about that? Look at this Mini here. I do like car colours these days. Look at that, like old, she was looking at the bike as well, but I was looking at the car. Like a kind of minky coloured car. I do like it when they do cars a bit unusual, and bikes a little bit unusual in the colours. Right, let's just roll out. And as with the shotgun, little to no jerkiness at low throttle. We will test it properly, but initial suspicions are that there'll be no jerkiness with the throttle. So I kind of got lost there. Let's get back to this review. Yeah, so everything up here is really nice. Let's talk about the speedo. Now, some people have criticised it a little bit. I know the YouTubers have said that it's a little bit kind of off-putting, that it's plasticky, and they would prefer it to have a chrome bezel. Probably agree, or at least a little bit of an aluminium satin bezel to tie in with this. That would be better. Tripper, I haven't used it. It looks like nobody's used it because it's totally set up wrong. But why would you not use the tripper, because a beeline satellite navigation, which is essentially the same thing, it's a little pod, circular, gives you turn by turn directions or arrows that show you which way to go, and that's 250 quid. Royal Enfield throws it in for free. So how nice is it to have something, even if you don't use it, then you've got it there, and it offsets the clock, which is really nice too, just to make sure it doesn't look a bit asymmetrical. The other thing I want to test today, while I remember, is how far can you ride on this bike. So I'm going to try and do a little bit further mileage. We did come out the other day, we didn't record with Susie on the back, so Susie could do the commentary of the pillion's position, because, as you might know, Susie's got like a chronic fatigue, so when she's on a good day, it was like make hay when the sun shines and get her up to have a look at a bike, but we can't do that every day, so it's just me for this segment. Susie will rejoin the video later, which you'll see, because we recorded that. Oh, it's a nice old car. Because we recorded that on the day when she was up. Right, open her up a little bit. Yeah, that is nice. What's not to like about that much power? 47 horsepower, feels quite torquey, makes a delicious noise. And like I said about the SuperMeteor, this is actually a bike you can kind of hustle. It doesn't look like it, it's not styled that way, but you can sort of sportily ride this cruiser. And how fun is that? I'm really enjoying it, to be honest. But then, if you come here for an objective review, then go elsewhere, because I'm a Royal Enfield fanboy through and through. So bear that in mind if you're making a buying decision on watching my Royal Enfield videos, then I have to admit I really like the brand. They just offer a lot for the money, don't they? It's just, everything about it is nice and quality. It all works, the style is there. They're just affordable, they don't price gouge people. And everything kind of works with Royal Enfield, you know, there's no dodgy gear change or anything to worry about. It's just, you buy a bike, you test ride it, and then you might own it for a couple of years. And basically, your experience on the test ride is basically your experience riding the bike. There's nothing weird and untoward. Yeah. Now, Hitchcocks do some nice accessories for the SuperMeteor. When I went up to visit them, they had some slashed, I mean, believe it or not, slashed pipes that looked wild. I mean, can you imagine the noise of those exhaust pipes? This is the problem with testing motorcycles in the UK, isn't it? This is my favourite little twisty section. I've got taxis and vehicles and all sorts. Wow, that noise. It feels really meaty. The whole experience is quite visceral, which you want on a motorcycle. I mean, you don't want a motorcycle that's bland and nothing. It's like the BSA has got that pop, 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 pop. You know, it has character in a different way. And this one, as I said in the shotgun review, it's kind of like a turbine spooling up. You could have real good fun on one of these. It's not just sort of a cruise and sit up and take your time. You can actually hustle a little bit should you want to, should the need arise. Of course, I'm getting no wind buffeting at all, which is really cool. I will when this lorry goes past me, but but other than that, I'm getting clean air flow. And I'd probably say, even if you do buy the Celestial edition, that's the point of correction. Actually, we said in the original thing, in one of our takes, we said Constellation. That's wrong, it's not called Constellation. The posh one, I say the posh one, the top tier one is called Celestial. Celestial Red, Celestial Blue. Now the Celestial edition is also called Touring because it only comes in Touring spec. Now the Touring spec is cool. It's got a touring seat, big foot pegs, I'm sure there's some bar end bits and bobs. But the main thing is that you notice it's got a screen and two-tone paint. I'd probably say don't go for the screen unless maybe you're of shorter stature and you tuck behind the screen, and then it'll benefit you. If you're average height and above, the screen's probably going to be a pain because it's going to get buffeting. I actually prefer the clean look of the bike I'm on now, which was Astral Black, or is it Interstellar? Yeah, because Meteor 350, it was Stellar, was the mid-tier, and I think the SuperMeteor is Interstellar, but I'm sure somebody will correct me. Oh, I think my voice broke then as we went over the bump. So yeah, I'm getting delicious clean air. Really, really nice. I'll test the brakes here, okay? So rear brake, yeah, really powerful. Same as the shotgun, obviously it's the same spec, more or less. Rear brake is fierce, and the front brake is equal, but you expect the front brake to be stronger, but it's not in this case. About the same. And Mark was telling me that's because in India, the Royal Enfield's home market, they primarily use the rear brake. I don't know why that is, he didn't elaborate on why, but he has been over to Goa to talk to Royal Enfield, and he was saying that maybe they told him that there, and maybe they gave him a reason why. If I was to hypothesize, I would say perhaps the road surface is a bit rough and ready, and therefore you don't really want to be hammering the front brake. You're going to be using a lot of the rear brake, which I actually like because it kind of suits how I ride. I use mainly rear brake. I treat the front brake more as in an emergency, so I ride slowly, and if I need to bleed off a bit of speed mid-corner, I use the rear brake. I don't know if that's right or wrong. I'm sure there'll be someone who's got years of riding experience or qualifications that'll say that's wrong. That's how I do it. So if I was to come up to a bend a little bit hot, just I dab the rear brake, and you don't get that mid-corner kind of scare as you do if you grab a handful of front. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, but anyway, point of the fact is, here we go, is that Royal Enfield having a punchy rear brake suits me, suits my riding. Watch this bend now, right? It's 55, a little bit fast for the bend, so I'll just dab the rear. It's so powerful, it just bleeds off speed, and then I'm picking up again with the torque, and I'm in fourth. It's pretty fun actually, it's pretty magical, this bike. So I'll dedicate a little bit of the video to talk about pricing. You're looking at between 6.5 or 6.7 and 7, mid 7s for the Celestial Edition, depending on what extras you spec and all this kind of thing, which is a lot of bike for the money. As with everything Royal Enfield, you know, that could apply to pretty much everything in the range. You've got all the power you need for UK roads. It's quite a common bike now, so I'm sure that insurance is probably going to be quite reasonable. I mean, never say never with insurance, you know, they can always surprise us with big increases, but Royal Enfields have never been a problem for me to insure. They're not really bikes that are bought and ridden like a hooligan. They're bikes that people tend to cherish and look after and use for Sunday bimbling, and so that reflects in insurance premiums. You know, it's not just about the power of the engine when insurance companies make up a price. It's about the use case and what kind of person owns that particular type of motorcycle, what the typical rider is. If we come on to servicing, I'm just having so much fun on this. Look, fourth is the gear, you know, a lot of power in fourth. If we come on to talk about servicing, well, Royal Enfield don't have the longest service intervals. I'm going to guess it's about 3,500, but I will put it down in the box below. I'll also put the standard interval and then the big one with the valve clearance. Oh man, there's nothing really that beats riding in the British countryside, is there, on a summer sunny day. You have to qualify that because it's not always sunny in the summer here. But it's all very charming, it's all very lovely. I tell you what would be nice on this bike, and this is just a wish list, it would be nice to have cruise control, wouldn't it? Which I shouldn't really say, because I'm a channel that effuses the benefits of small capacity little bikes that are, you know, back to basics, cheap and cheerful. But like everyone, I do get a little bit spoiled by a TFT screen and cruise control. Alright, And can you imagine coming along here? You could also set it just to 40 miles an hour so you didn't exceed the speed limit. That'd be quite handy. A couple of other bits which I've noticed. Obviously the fuel tank is quite nice because it canters upwards on a hinge, which is a bit nicer than the BSAs. And you've got the now standard lacquered under stickers on Royal Enfield, which is also kind of a nice to have. The colours on this, really nice. I think I'd probably go for Astral Green. See, whenever I want to go for a bike, it's always the entry level one, which I like, which is quite convenient really, because I don't pay the top money. This is Astral Black. They do Astral Grey and Astral Green, and then they've got a couple of Interstellar options, and then 2 of the Celestial, which are in the Touring, as I talked about with the red and the cream. They're the kind of eye-catching ones, I think. This is more of like a bit more of a subtle cruiser. There's the boys on the sports bikes. They must be more frustrated than I am. And that's the problem with riding a sports bike. It's all fun when there's no one on the road and you can hear about. But when it comes to like a busy day like this, and you've got traffic and stuff, you're really just kind of frustrated because you know the bike's not set up for cruising. Like, I'm on the perfect bike for today. Ride this along to go to a nice country pub, go to a spot by the river, and I'm not really in a hurry. I'm just enjoying myself, having a look at stuff. Look, the Peacock Inn, I didn't know that was there. Make a note of that. Whereas when you're on a sports bike, you're always trying to get somewhere. It's less about the journey and it's more about the destination. There we go, just a little dab of the rear brake and we're down to 40. Right, how am I getting on with the forward foot controls? Now this is weird because when I rode the shotgun, I thought I preferred that bike. And now I'm on the SuperMeteor, I'm starting to lean back towards the SuperMeteor. So it just shows there's some bias between the more recent bike you rode. Because obviously those two bikes are quite similar. And it's kind of about forward foot peg position. I typically go for mid controls. So whilst I like the styling of the SuperMeteor, I'm probably more in line with the shotgun with the foot controls. So classic 650. Anybody? Could be on the tip of the tongue. This is a lovely thing about these Royal Enfield 650s. Look, I can come approaching these lights here. I'll take you through Tenbury just to show you the town, because it's quite nice. Yeah, as I was saying, I can just toddle along in a high gear and it's got the torque. I'm in second now, but I didn't need to be in second. See a very beautiful bridge and kind of a typical, if you're from America or something, which I know some of the viewers are, this is kind of a typical British town. Like a small town in the country. In the Midlands here, we got this red brick building history of building. So in the Cotswolds, for example, it's all a special type of stone, limestone called Cotswold stone. But here it's very famous to build with red brick, so that's why it kind of looks like it does, really. And this is Tenbury Wells, with all of its little fancy coffee shops and trendy little British things. Go this way, I think. Now we're going to go on to a little bit more of a quieter road. Here we go, third gear. Oh man, this is so nice. Yeah, I've got used to the foot peg position and the gear change. It doesn't have the heel toe shift like the Meteor 350 does. It's just got a conventional gear lever. Wow. And again, look, I overcooked it a little bit there, so just use the rear brake to bleed off some speed. Yeah, that's it. And again, look, I'm in third. plenty of pull, short shift up to 4th, and it's just rewarded me for it. Really, really nice. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the opportunity just to pull over, let this vehicle go past, and then I'll pull off. Quite slow speed control, it's quite impressive, even for me. Right, now watch this, it's absolutely crazy. You see that? On, off throttle, I'll over exaggerate the movement. There's no jerk at all. The Royal Enfield have nailed that. I mean, I showed it on the shotgun, but you see, it just like, it's somehow the nature of the twin. It's like where it's one piston kind of catches you, so you don't get like a jerk. I mean, you get inline-4s with jerky throttle. It's just down to the fueling. It just seems to be so nice on this. I mean, I wish this job paid more money, because I mean, it's just a dream, isn't it? Imagine this was what you did all the time. Went out and rode different motorcycles, like a test rider or something like that. Look at it. Can I be that guy who's pictured in all the spy shots of different Royal Enfields?
Right, so we've come back from the test ride on the SuperMeteor, and it was kind of a long time coming, this test ride. I'd been wanting to go out on one for ages, and
Me too.
It actually wasn't, like, my excitement for the SuperMeteor probably peaked literally 12 plus months ago, and I'm kind of revisiting it now. Obviously these bikes have been out a while, and I was like, well, what's it going to be like? And to be honest, it doesn't disappoint me. I think it's probably the most comfortable bike out of the Royal Enfield 650 range. It's
so far
definitely more comfortable than the Interceptor, Continental GT, obviously count that one out. The shotgun is pretty good, but that's more of a sporty ride. You're a bit leant forward. The comfort is probably because I don't have that much reach to the bars. The seat, this is the non-touring seat. You actually can't see that, it's out of shot. Non-touring seat, that's the standard seat, very comfortable. And I have got slightly forward controls. Now, I spoke to Two Wheeled Willie before making this video, and he was saying that the controls aren't as forward as a Harley. They're not like forward controls, but they're not mid controls. I did have the odd moment where I went to put my feet down and I kind of slipped and went down onto the floor and didn't hit the pegs. But I think that was only, you know, a 15-mile test ride. If we did a bit more, you just get used to it, and then your feet go to the right point. So I think it's that like cruiser ethos they've kind of nailed on this bike. Comfort for me on a motorcycle is probably one of the most important things. I really enjoyed riding it. I thought it was really nice with Suze on the back. The engine, I'm kind of used to the Royal Enfield's refined 650cc platform now. You've got 6 gears, it pulls, it's very forgiving. There's loads of nice elements to the way the power is delivered. It's torquey, it's enough power for the road. This bike is a 242 kilo bike with 90% fuel and oil.
Heavy.
So it is heavy, but the weight is down low. That's something people were going to consider if they were upgrading from a Meteor 350, is the weight of the bike. But I didn't find it that bad because the seat's so low. You got the whole strength to be planted. If you like the forward controls and the cruiser style, you'll love this. Because the rest of the bike is like, we all know Royal Enfield by now, that it's just stunning.
It looks great.
But if you want to go mid, then it's shotgun or classic 650.
Which is not yet out.
Yeah, I'm going to move Suze forward a bit because otherwise we'll be out of focus.
Ooh, and blurry.
Yeah. See, probably.
Maybe I need to be blurred out a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit less.
We're overexposed and out of focus in this shot. It's not very professional, is it? But
professional? What's that?
We've never heard of professionalism on this channel. This is other cool. Like, we all know what this bike is all about. Like, I'll probably shoot some B-roll. Very, very well finished. Again, I've spoken to people, and the general consensus is it is Triumph level. The standout thing for me, the rider's view, you got the Showa forks up front, quite firm. but nice to have a premium suspension brand on a Royal Enfield at £6,800. Just quickly look at the price tag, check what it is.
Yeah, 6,799.
It just, everything is well finished, maintained. It's just really nice. There's no flaw. There's no bits that kind of draw your eye, unsightly parts. The only bit, I guess, which you could point at on the SuperMeteor is a kind of nouveau mix of retro and modern. So you've got plastic on the dials for the tripper and the speedometer.
Same here.
You've got,
this is plasticky.
Yeah. It's also that satin, kind of like a modern hue.
Yeah.
Haven't gone for the old school chrome. But then again, they're leaving room, aren't they, in the range for classic 650s to come in with the mid controls, full chrome, fully old school colours. Like Royal Enfield know what they're doing. This is a cruiser, but it's a little bit of a modern take on a cruiser.
Well, that classic will be really exciting for us to ride. Maybe we should do the review of that together as well.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I mean, imagine something like a Signals Classic 650 in the future. Yeah.
Well, very different. I think, I don't know, I think you might get a bit overwhelmed with that kind of, yeah, it doesn't really leave room. Like, you've got to like that, and I think some days that would be too much for me personally, anyway, because it looks cool. But if that was your bike, there's no like, it is that and that's it. Whereas this kind of, yeah, I feel like it like just goes with everything, gives you a bit of
general purpose bike.
I'm just going to shut up.
That's part of this bit of this car salesman here. You're like, oh yeah, it's got a bit of this, it's got a bit of that. Put this in here.
You never
do this,
one way or the other, because you don't know what the person wants.
What are these things here? Got a seat, got some bars, yeah.
It has got a seat.
Right,
it's actually got two seats.
I'm going to point to things and you can say what they are.
Okay. Oval shaped piece of metal.
Grab handle, so when you put it on the centre stand, you can hoik it up. Quite a useful thing.
That's amazing.
I know. There she's impressed with that.
Can you get those for the VSA? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Royal Enfield.
You haven't got a centre stand, have you?
No.
Oh, hello. We've got a little friend. Come on. Hello.
This is the dog that came over in the Fantic dealership dog. No.
Oh my gosh, I want a dog. So
I don't even know if you're in focus.
Put a little vote on. Do you think that we should have a dog? That should be one of the votes for the viewers. If anybody wants to comment on that. So,
hello.
I'm way too distracted. So the seat.
It's a pillion seat.
Really liked it. I would say not as comfortable as the BSA seat.
It's
but
smaller,
again, very
less
subjective.
padding.
I tell you what, it actually gave me quite a nice position for my back. Oh look.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. I know that. This is me. Tummy rub. So, I think that this is.
Grab handle. A bit of nothing really,
isn't it?
It's
a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Think about that you're sitting on that. So your sit bones are actually on that. I don't think that it's...
This dog. Sorry to interrupt the video again, but...
Oh,
there you go.
Like a little bit of strokes. Yeah, we've got some Royal Enfield doggy love going on over here. So this seat, what it does do is allow me to... I'm a little bit higher than Sean, which can sometimes be a benefit.
Maybe we don't bash helmets as much.
I tell you what, the foot peg placement for the pillion is great for me. Maybe that wouldn't be so great for a tall rider, but for me they're lovely. I'm able to put my knees just about by Sean and sort of hug him, so I feel secure. And I sit with my arms around, because obviously this grab handle thing, I don't really know. That's a bit gimmicky. I think you can't really get both your fingers underneath it, and also, like I said, you sat on it.
Final segment: would we own a SuperMeteor? I think probably if something came up second hand in a colour I liked, and I was feeling like going the red or astral green.
The green.
I would probably go for it. I mean, I've heard really good things from Two Wheeled Willie. He's owned the bike. He had it as his channel bike. Loved it. There's probably a few other people. I know ER has got a standard Meteor in red, which I'll be following his channel for that. But a few.
Love that red.
Yeah, I mean, he did a great video as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
But
yes, it was the one in front of us, in front of a reservoir.
Yeah.
It was really cool. Really cool. Yeah,
but
he seemed chuffed with it as well.
He's chuffed with that red Meteor, and I think, yeah, if you're happy with the power output of that bike, there's literally nothing else wrong with it. It's so charming and characterful. It's just a lovely thing.
Yeah, that's what you need and what you like. Good stuff.
There are also some YouTubers with these bikes. I think they're probably, out of the 650 range, the one that's best suited for long distances. potentially 2 up. Don't think the shotgun. Interceptor's got a famously uncomfortable seat.
Why not the
Continental.
shotgun? Too sporty feeling.
A little bit too sporty, leant over a little bit, but that's all relative. Yeah, I mean, Royal Enfield,
Yeah.
sporty, is still quite comfortable.
But that basically means that the classic 650 will definitely be the most comfortable, because if you've gone like sporty and kind of a bit leaned over, and then you go to
Cruiser,
and
then in the middle.
which obviously may not be super comfortable with your feet forward for some people. So then if you go middle, I think for you,
It's classic 650.
yeah.
Sup-
And the classic 350 looks wicked, doesn't it? It's really cool.
Yeah, it's dreamy, the classic 350. With SuperMeteor, you got that mix of styles as well, old and new. So if that's your bag, could be for this bike. There's accessories for this bike galore, very suitable for customization. Obviously, we all know all of this is just lovely. Royal Enfield just knocking it out of the park with this,
I
the
think
whole
they've done
style.
such a good job. I tell you what I would like,
Go on.
an Aurora SuperMeteor. Do they do that?
I don't
Yeah.
know, but should we end the video on that point? Because if you had an Aurora SuperMeteor, that'd be the stuff of dreams.
That would be what we'd be getting.
Yeah.
Well, for me anyway. Because can you imagine that colour? Like a light blue or they're pastel colours, aren't they? I tell you what, pastel lilac. Oh, pastel lilac SuperMeteor Aurora.
I don't dislike the video because of that comment. Just like,
As we said, everything's subjective.
yeah.